Hi, welcome back to On the Record. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I, by the way, am your host, Dennis Morrison, which probably most of you know. Your congenial and so handsome host. Before I get into what we're going to do today, I wanted to thank all of you who continue to pray for me because of the health condition I'm going through right now. I did see the surgeon yesterday. I will be having surgery towards the end of November. So I'd appreciate it if you keep that in prayer. He was able to help me with some pain medications to try to get this under control until then. So that's how that's going. But what I want to do today, instead of play some records, is I want to show you some vintage electronic pieces in my collection, probably mostly radios today. I don't have anything predating 1940 right now, but I do have some interesting vintage pieces from the era of my childhood and a little bit before. A lot of it's going to be radio. So I want to read you just really a brief paragraph about radio in the United States, because radio broadcasting here in the United States has been used since the early 1920s to distribute news and entertainment to a national audience. By 1931, a majority of U.S. households had owned at least one radio receiver. It was the first electronic mass medium technology, and its introduction, along with the subsequent development of sound films, ended the print media's monopoly on distributing news and entertainment. So times changed really a lot when radio came into use in the 1920s. During the golden age of radio, it had a major cultural and financial impact on the country. However, the rise of television broadcasting in the 1950s relegated radio to a secondary status, as much of its programming and audience, of course, shifted to the new medium that included both sight and sound, which, you know, is understandable. I love old-time radio, and if you like old-time radio, there are literally well over 1,000 radio programs here on the Dennis Morrison channel. So go to my playlists, or just type old-time radio Dennis Morrison channel into your YouTube search engine, and everything you want to listen to for a long time in old-time radio will come up. Now, the first thing I want to show you today is, it just came through my door today. I never know what's going to come through my door, and usually it's something either from my dear friends Bill and Judy Wigner over at Records and Tapes Galore, or my buddy Gil. And today Gil came in and he brought me a 1948 Gibson Amplifier in very poor shape, but I am going to attempt to do some restoration on it. So I want to show you that, so I'm going to take you over to the Gibson Amplifier. Alright, first up is this Gibson Amplifier, and it is in pretty tattered condition. It was recovered by my friend Gil out of an abandoned house and had been exposed to the elements for some time. I looked this up online, and in a beat up condition similar to this one, I found one for $1,100. To me, I don't know, I know Gibson's a popular name. I'm going to turn this around. Well, first, before I turn it around, all the jacks and controls are up here on the top, and you've got your on indicator here, which is kind of a faceted piece of red glass. And so let's turn this baby around. And sorry about the jerking of the camera. Alright, now what seems odd to me here is that the tubes, there are 7 tubes, they're mounted in the top rather than on the bottom, and that seemed kind of odd to me. The speaker, good size speaker, looks like it would still be good. It has an additional magnet on the side. I'm not sure what that is, and I don't know if you can even see it the way the lighting is in here. I hope you can. Alright. The only thing I think I'm going to do to this is glue down the material that's on it, and then maybe try to clean the material. Interesting piece. That handle, that handle has to go. Alright, I'm going to plug this in a second and we'll see what happens, okay? Hopefully I won't blow up. Okay, got it plugged in. Let's turn it on. the light begins to glow very dimly. I don't see any of the tubes lighting up. Gil had plugged it in and he said the tubes lit up, but I don't see any of them lighting up. And I don't have a piece of equipment that has the right type of jack to check this out. But anyways, I thought this was a really cool find, and if nothing else, it will sit in my display of vintage electronic equipment. Gibson, awesome name. Alright, let's move on to some. Now, Bill and Judy, when their store flooded, gave me a lot of electronic equipment. They gave me portable transistor radios, reel-to-reel, a lot of things. This particular one is from 1960, I believe is what I found it. And I actually found an ad for that. This is General Electric transistor radio. Now, I said I found an advertisement, and the advertisement is dated October 27th, 1961. And I'm sorry you get my shadow in there, but there's the very same transistor radio, companion piece if you want it, and it says pocket, a portable for practically peanuts. That's why all the peanuts are there. Less than $20 takes either of these all-transistor General Electric radios. Take your pick. Both of these powerful, portable, and are smashing bargains. Then they give you dependable General Electric performance at a price that you cannot pass up. Now, $20 in 1961 would think was quite a bit of cash, quite a few peanuts. But I was happy to be able to find the ad for the exact radio. Alright, let's take a look at a few other pieces. Alright, now this transistor radio, this is the kind that I was most familiar with when I was a kid. My brother Bill had one. Not identical to this, but the same type, shape, and style. Solid state, FM, AM radio, and it was by Ward's, probably Montgomery Ward's, and it is an airline. It looks like there's a little dent there, but it does play. I put a battery in it, and it plays really, really good. Put the antenna up, and I got stations all the way down to Detroit when I'm in Saginaw, so that's over 100 miles. Now, up here is a cool piece. Now, this is probably 1980s, and it is from Morrison, and it is a television, FM, AM stereo, multiplex receiver, stereo cassette recorder. I have not turned it on. I've cleaned it up. Of course, with everything digital now, I don't know if I could get anything analog on the little TV screen there. But I love the combination of all of these different forms of communication and media that were at your fingertips with a device like this. I imagine it was a pricey piece back in the 1980s. I would think, like I said, probably the early 1980s. Interesting piece. I found this actually in a burned out garage, and the fire didn't do any damage to this wonderful vintage piece. Okay, let's move down here. Now, this radio Gil brought to me yesterday. It is a Zenith table model, obviously, and it does work. I plugged it in, but it has an annoying humming sound to it. I believe this also is 7. No, this isn't tubes. Yes, it is. There are 7 tubes in this particular radio, and this one is circa 1963. So I'd have been about 8 years old when this radio was out. And I imagine it was a popular model. It's a nice design, kind of a light sort of blonded wood. Nice. It almost has a tropical type feel to it with this type of material covering the speaker. No, 2 speakers. Yep, so it is stereo, 2 speakers in there. Alright, over here we have another radio. This would have been, this is an Morrison, and it would have been carried with a strap over the shoulder. The controls are nice. The controls are, very accessible. This has, it would take batteries, but you could also use it with regular power from household current, and that does work also. It's picked up some nice, it has a nice sound, considering its age and how long it had been abandoned. Well, not really abandoned. My friends Bill and Judy over at Records and Tape Galore gave this to me, and I cannot believe the things that my dear friends had in that store in the back room that even they had forgotten about, and this was one of them, and I really appreciated them adding it to my collection. More recent things, we have an FM AM Walkman from Sony, and so you could do your cassettes, and you could do, of course, radio. This one works also, and so that's kind of a cool piece from Sony. Then I have a RCA sort of version of that, set up a little bit differently. It is with bass boost dynamic sound amplifier. And I haven't tried this one out because the batteries that were left in it and corroded, so I'd have to do some cleaning on it, and at some point I will. But that, again, well, that probably was late 70s, early 80s in that era, I would think. Now here is an FREQ, and if that's the brand, I've never heard of it before. I particularly liked it because of the colors in it. Clear plastic, has different colors to the plastic. It is cassette and AM FM. With the clear plastic, there's not a whole lot to watch, but you can see the tape as it's moving, and if you turn it around, then you can watch whatever mechanism was in motion at that time. This one, would take a lot of work to get to play. Whoever had it left the battery in it, badly corroded, and I don't know that it could be made playable. Oh, I see on here, it was made by Sony, radio cassette player, and so that's kind of a cool piece. And I love these vintage pieces. They are so cool because, you know, these kind were from when I was a young boy. These kind are when I was in my 20s and early 30s, and then this one I hadn't even been thought of yet. So the miracle of Dennis being around had not happened yet when this Gibson was made. If you have any comments about the Gibson or any of these pieces, I would love to hear them. Now, there are a lot more items to show you, but let me turn this around. This is you're going to be able to see me because I didn't put it back on the tripod. I have a lot of other items to show you. I have reel-to-reel players. I have early video cassette and items. But I'm going to save those for another time because I like to keep these fairly short. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this look at these pieces, and I will see you again real soon. God bless you all. Love you all so very much.